Something I can say is then when the babies came down, I never cried. I never cried. I always felt it's none of my business. It's none of my business because nature is running the show. You can call it God, you can call it nature, but it's not me. If this little one is coming down, I mean, what must I do? It's none of my business. I didn't do anything wrong that I know of. If it wants to come down, it must come down. And so I never cried, and that was really helpful for me. Another thing, I'm not saying you shouldn't cry, but I'm saying not put blame on yourself, like maybe I did this wrong or maybe I did that. No, just chill. It's nature. We need to allow nature to do its thing. I think a lot of females walk around with blame. There was also a lot of insecurity that came up for me. Luckily, my husband wasn't pushing me to have a child. He wasn't saying, "Oh, I want a child" or stuff like that. He was very. He said, "If we have one, it's great. If we don't, really, it's not a problem." And that really helped me. Which again is not a judgment on fathers that really want a child, that say to their wife, "Oh, I would love a child." Of course they would, not to take away from them. So if your husband is someone who really wants a child and saying it, it's not, you shouldn't feel blame towards them. I was just in that nice position that my husband didn't put force on me or he didn't put guilt on me. But if a husband does do that, I actually feel emotional. If a husband does do that, I think it's difficult for men because they don't have any control over the situation. Men are completely outside of the picture. If you really want a child, you're so dependent on a woman to carry it for you. And there's a lot of helplessness in that, I think. So if your husband is, putting pressure on you, I don't think we should blame them. It's a very helpless situation for a man to be in. It's a helpless situation for everyone involved. And we sometimes as females, when we lose a baby, it could happen that someone might think, I'm the one suffering, but there's a man next to you who's completely out of control. He can't eat healthier for you. He can't be more relaxed for you. He can't stress less or do things. He might think that if she did this, we could have had this child. But he's got no control over that. And I think that's a big deal. So please, we need to support our men in this a lot. All the things, also when females have a miscarriage, the attention goes to the female. I'm so sorry to hear. The man is just standing there. He's got no say in this. He's just ignored. I think that's a big thing. We don't realize how men are really dependent on us for having a child. That's big. And the other thing was I celebrated other people's kids. I celebrated people when they fell pregnant. I wasn't jealous. I was really happy for them. I did prayers for others I knew that were struggling to have children, and then they would get their children, and I would pray and say thank you, And I think that's important. I think it's important that that energy flows through you. When you start to get jealous of others who has children or happy for people who can't have kids because now they're like you, that's a blockage of energy. It's a stagnation. It's a rotting of energy. We need to let it flow through us. If you celebrate other people's fertility and joy, I feel that same energy can flow through you freely. When you start to block it, it's a death.